If you like the Gears of War series, you'll probably like Gears of War 4. Especially in terms of the gameplay, the mechanics, the way the game works, even the multiplayer and the new Horde mode. It is very similar to the other games. Actually, Gears of War 4 feels a lot more like how they were doing things with Gears of War Judgment. They have this kind of new setup. It's not really a new system where you have to, fortify an area and defend it for a few waves. They had a few things like that in Gears of War Judgment, and now they're part of Gears of War 4. As much as I love the gameplay and the mechanics, I really, really love the story and the characters of it, and this is kind of where, for me, Gears of War kind of fell flat. It takes place about 25 years after the last game, after the Locusts have been defeated, have been eradicated, and you play as JD, who is Marcus and Anya's son. Basically, without spoiling anything, someone is taken by this new enemy, and your goal, the thing you set out to do in the game, is to get that person back. And by the end of the game, you have a conclusion to that goal. But throughout the entire gameplay, throughout the story, there are mysteries and questions that are asked and answered throughout the gameplay of what's going on with this new enemy, what the world is like after the Locust, what's been going on for the past 25 years, but it still focuses on that one goal. Someone is taken, and you have to get them back. In my opinion, I don't feel the story met the standards of past games. I was listening to The Week in Geek a couple weeks ago, and Scungy, who is a friend of mine, was kind of giving a brief review of the game, and he felt that the story just kind of drew on. And I have to disagree with that. I actually wanted more from the story, more narrative, more things going on in the story, and I just don't feel that it delivered that. Also, something I've really loved about the Gears of War series are the characters. Look at Baird and Cole. Just your first meeting of them in Gears of War, in the first Gears of War game, you get a real sense of who these characters are. Within like the first couple minutes of meeting them, you get to really know these characters really quickly because their characteristics are so strong. And that's through all of the games of the original Gears series. In Gears of War 4, the main characters of JD, his friend Del, and their friend Kate, they don't really stand out. They were just kind of, I don't want to say stock characters, they were just kind of like the story. They were just kind of flat. They were kids. They didn't have a whole lot of personality to them. Not to say that they weren't entertaining. They had, some good banter going on throughout the game. But overall, I couldn't really find any real motivation to care about the welfare of these characters or what's going on for these characters or feel for these characters. You want to talk about feeling for a character? Look at Dom in Gears of War 2 and 3. How could you not play those games and not have your heart ripped out and stomped on watching Dom's story unfold? I mean, Dom is like the quintessential heartbreaking moment of Gears of War. And in this one, the characters didn't live up. They weren't as interesting. They felt kind of like they were immature kids who needed an adult, and that adult was Marcus Phoenix. But when I had that thought, I started thinking about it a little more, and maybe that was the point of their characters. The characters that we've met in the original Gears series were forged by this 15-20 year long Locust War. And for the past 25 years, JD and Del and Kate have grown up in relative peace. Not to say they haven't had conflicts, but they've been in a pretty peaceful existence. It's seeing them put into this brand new one. The war that is building in Gears of War 4 is very new. It's brand new. It's something that's just beginning. Hopefully in future Gears of War series, we'll explain and flesh out what's going on in this war, the questions that were kind of brought up in the game, as well as hopefully fleshing out these characters and maybe giving them a little more depth to them, because overall there wasn't any there. At least to the main three characters. There were a few outside characters that you got a little bit of a glimpse of, who, in my opinion, I thought were actually pretty interesting. But the main three characters that we spend the majority of the game with, you just didn't get that sense of depth within their characters. And hopefully that's something that they'll build on in the next few games. What did you think of Gears of War 4? Let me know in the comments, and follow me on all the internets. Check me out on templeofgeek.com so you can see content from me and content from other creators. If you like my videos, make sure you check out my Patreon so you can become a patron and support more of my content. Also, check out my sponsor, Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at tubbyandcoos.com, where it's all geek to me. And definitely subscribe to my channel so we can geek out some more. Thanks for watching, and have fun. So Captain America, Thor, Hulk.